Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a review of an album by Dirac Sea by an act named Ming Yang Ran, and if we switch over to here, we have ourselves the album on Spotify and we're going to be reviewing each of these 8 tracks today. This is going to be a bit of a different review to what I usually do because we've also got lyrics handed over per track, and I'm happy to obviously look through the lyrics as this is a Chinese musician and I'm not familiar with a lot of the languages from that part of the world. I've been sent through the lyrics. This is the album art here, which is gorgeous, and apparently Ming Yang Randy, they did that themselves, which is phenomenal. It's incredible talent. I wish I could paint like that. I wish I could do that. Hello sir, I'm Ming Yang Ran from China, a songwriter and music lover. Here are the lyrics of my album Dirac Sea. I translated them by myself, so there may be some grammar mistakes. Sorry for that. It's totally fine. Hope they can help you understand the meaning of songs. Dirac Sea is a rock album about the future and the universe, which is inspired by the concept of Dirac Sea. See below, I think there's a definition down there. I think it's just like our life. What we are waiting for is just a light. My main musical influence or inspirations are Beyond from Hong Kong and the Beatles. John Lennon and Wong Kar-Kui are my favorite rock singers. I make this album all myself, which is impressive. Genuinely, it is impressive. Vocals, guitars, basses, post-production, etc. Hope to get professional advice from you. Please tell me your true feelings. Well, I will do that. I want to get better in music, so let me know my advantages and disadvantages, especially my vocal performance as a rock singer. Thanks a lot. And Dirac Sea is a theoretical model of the vacuum as an infinite sea of particles with negative energy. It was first postulated by the British physicist Paul Dirac in 1930 to explain the anomalous negative energy quantum states predicted by the Dirac equation for relativistic electrons. It's a bit too much for my brain to handle, but I am enjoying it regardless. I think it's cool. I'm looking forward to hearing how this goes with the music. So without further ado, we're going to be switching between the album and the lyrics just so I can get it per song, and then we'll obviously have our conclusion at the end. But yes, we're going to listen through each of these tracks from start till finish. We're going to hear what we think, starting with Starry Night Burns Out. Let's go. Okay, nice chimey guitar here. Oh, it's pretty off the bat. I do like the warbly sound of those guitars there alongside the peppiness of those drums. If I'm nodding my head immediately, you know you're on a good start. What I like about this is not just the vocal melodies, but how the guitar parts are jumping between one another. I think that's really fantastic sound design. I can definitely hear the Beatles influences with the vocal style there. I think I definitely can. Definitely I can hear those, especially some of the early stuff. Those dominant 7th chords we had there, some of the extensions on the guitar are gorgeous. Okay, that was cool. I enjoy the fact that we're having that extra bar there. We could have potentially had another bar there just to really sort of stretch the tension there, although you could probably have that in the second half of this as well. Good use of vocal fry there. Good use of vocal fry there, Randy. Right, so, I mean, as I've sort of said before, Ming Yang Ran is like the official name of the artist. I've also been told that I can just say Randy, so I'm just probably, if I use Randy, it's not that I don't want to use the other name, although I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'll probably just be using Randy for the rest of the review. So, yeah, just in case anyone's confused. But those vocals are sensational. So peppy and bouncy. It sparkles, dude. What a lovely album. Again, that was a lovely instrumental break there as well. Just having things sort of glide around the screen, like the shimmer of those upper guitar parts is a wonderful accompaniment to the lack of vocals in that part. Good job having the different bass parts doing sort of a counter rhythm to that. The bum 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 that we heard there was fantastic because it countered, obviously it was countered to what the guitars were doing, so it's easy to hear it. Yeah, we caught it. That's what we want. Again, the additional sort of layer of backing vocals there, alongside the do 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 do, and then the claps here. We're aware that we need to develop a song and a theme as we go along, and add little bits to the next few sections that if we repeat, just to keep things kind of nice and spicy sounding, you know. It's just the little things, you know. That was kind of sharp sounding EQing wise, but I don't mind it. I can see what we're going with. Starry Night Burns Out. I don't mind a little bit of rawness or roughness to my tracks, especially if you're going to modulate the guitars like this. Is that vocoded? That was a fantastic lead section at the end. We were very, very tasteful in it. We allowed ourselves to allow space for the vocoded, like sort of the singing parts there that I think were kind of being sort of modulated there by something, and then just have that little bit of shred going a bit to the hello, you know, that part there. It was just a really smooth transition. Great range and instrumentation, you know. Again, there's just absolutely no filler in this, and doing the automation of panning of those guitar parts, this is one of the most interesting music I've listened to in a very, very long time, without hyperbole. It's just, you're kind of following it along here, you're being thoroughly entertained by it. Yeah, sensational beginning to stuff, man. Well done. So that's Dirac Sea, that's the starting point. And so this is Starry Night Burns Out, composed by Mingyang Ran, and lyrics by Wenli Zhu. Vicissitudes, I don't know what vicissitudes means. Comes to an end, people start walking backwards. Go with the flow, say goodbye to it. Dazzling lights burn out freedom, only dark holes left. Tides fill with undercurrent, can you see through the silence? There was some poetry going on here, and my brain is like, I don't know, man. We'll see if we can get more sort of nuance here. Don't feel upset, the end may be a new starting point, and the deepest part of the night, glimmer is flashing. Oh, I get it. So basically this is Captain Randy speaking, we're from the Earth, I'm going to the Universe City. Hey, let's go, like come together. Oh, that's cool. So basically this track is about having the courage to explore and be a part of a new thing, you know. Maybe your world is burnt out, but just because you're going through a rough time doesn't mean there aren't other options or opportunities outside of that. I think that that's a wonderful way to start an album. The reason for me feeling that way with Starry Night Burns Out is that it's essentially saying, look, I know that things might not be okay right now, but listen through this album and you're going to find more than what you've got now. Captain Randy is going to take you on an adventure, and that's what you want Captain Randy to do at the start of the song. So that's Time Paradox, track number 2 now. Oh, that's a saucy little, just overdriven distorted guitar lead there on the left. Going on with the piano as well, man. Excellent stuff, dude. We're not just doing our standard 4/4 chord progressions or whatever. We're messing around parallel majors and minors. There's no sleeping on this composition. Okay, now that was an unusual chord at the end there, and he's... Oh, that's criminal. It's criminal that we managed to get that to work like that. This is not Baby's first steps, it's chord progressions. And that head voice is charming. Again, you've just got such lovely range there. Having that space there in a 3-minute 24 song without any vocals, it's so alien to me because I get a lot of people sending in music for me to review where they're like, listen to the story, listen to the story, listen to the story, listen to the story. And it's like, no, you can just have a storytelling part and then let people enjoy the accompaniment, enjoy the various talents of Ming Yang Ran as they play the other parts of this album. It's so refreshing. And back into that verse. It's like a long lost friend. And so those little sounds, those little tails on those melodies that allow for as a transition into the next half of it, half the stanza, onto the next stanza. And that piano is following the bass line. That's so subtle. Are these fourth harmonies or something like that? They're very glorious, aren't they? Nice little bit of reverb with some of those parts there to give a bit of airiness, but not too much, as if to sort of separate from the positive vibes of it all. Hey, Betty. It was so glorious how the vocals built like that, you know, that the backing vocals coming in the hook there, but that final bit of development and that going up into that chorus was just escalating there. And it's beautiful, man. And that sort of, that kind of swing, kind of shuffle that we have going on with the drums there as you go through the time paradox, it's such a lovely mental image. It makes it sound really peaceful, especially after we got called into the new universe in the previous track. Good use of head voice there, I do like it. Sub-layers of vocals. I like the fact that we're taking away a bar that we would usually expect to be there, just simply to have like a, oh wait, no, we're into the next thing now. And it's done like twice now for whatever reason. Even though it's been repeated, it isn't stale. It's like you kind of want it to keep tricking you into thinking you know what's going to happen, but it just, it's wonderful. Great tone of that bass, man. I love the sizzle down there. We're fading out. I don't know how he's managed to I don't know how he's managed to cover that 70s kind of crispy LP feel to it, that long play vinyl kind of sound to it. It's so beautiful and soothing. Time paradox, written by Ming Yang Ran. Eyes that are good at seeing the world are hard to feel the elapse of time, though. Because of the masks covering your eyes or the limitation of our bodies. I think there's a lot of poetry in the verses, and then the hooks sum it up, which I appreciate because, I mean, like, I think this isn't an album you can really sort of get your teeth into in the first listen. You need more time with it. And I remember at one point, the most dumb comment I made at one point was that, like, if music's, I'm not even going to I'm not going to insult people's intelligence by saying it. I think that repeat listens are important, just so that you can get everything within a track. And I think this is definitely one of those albums where like it makes sense to take your time with it. But from what I gather from it, go away with it, let your mind wander. I'm thus the dust of the vast world. Sail somewhere lower my expectation, a dust would gather again. I think that it's about trying not to fight against what comes your way and allowing yourself to just go with what occurs, to not let yourself be overwhelmed by what is to come. It's about being at peace with what is. There's a great philosophy to this, which I'm really appreciating. These overarching themes make for a really coherent listening experience. And I can kind of hear how with the shuffle beat that we had, you're just kind of waltzing your way through time and space. Great connection there. It's very nice and positive. Satellite, track number 3. Oh, there's some synths on the side there. Oh, that's gorgeous, dude. So nice and wide. The synth on the side there is like 0.5 dB too loud. But aside from that, it's good. Oh no, it's coming on the other side now. And is it because the guitar is in the center now? Is it that it's designed so that the guitar goes around so that you be surrounded by the boom, 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 those 7th or 9th sequences? We don't deserve this, man. Like, we do not deserve someone to care this much about the music they're making. Like, the satellite of the sequencer going around their headphones with the vocalist remaining in the center telling the story. We don't deserve that, man. That's too good. It's too good. Guitar is a little more subtle in this one, but I'm wondering if that's a deliberate stylistic choice or not. Very peppy with those upper notes there. A little bit of chromaticism there as well, which is dope. Oh, and then it all comes in the hook. I was wondering when we were going to build it up from a dynamics perspective, but we had it. Great crescendo there, man. Well done. Sounds nice and full now and balanced. Fantastic vocal performance there on top of those guitars with those piano arpeggios going you know, solid groove on the drums there to kind of carry across and keep up a sense of pace that contrasts well with the slow dance of those satellites waltzing around the headphones. It's nice to have a more subtle kick here along with those rim shots. Really fun lead lines as well. Yeah, da-da-da, as it comes in with the vocals, kind of handing off the mic to the next person. It's 101 stuff, but smashes it. Again, it's just a really simple chord progression, but what elevates it is all the other elements that are sort of interacting with that and enhancing it. It's the beauty of the different ingredients within the mix. I kind of like the fuzziness of the guitar. Is that a brass there, or is that a sub drop on the kick for that first time of the hook, or the second time of the hook? I can even hear some Zhang Yuxing influences in this, honestly, like... The guitar solo is tasteful and a good choice here. Even though we have an oversaturated song with vocals, I feel like nonetheless it's great to have an alternative lead voicing there. Working with those pentatonics and blues. That vibrato at the end, man. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Great use of 5 minutes. It's nice to know we can use a longer form factor like this and make it impactful. Yep, good use of those tom fills there as well. Great way of splitting up the two halves of the horse. Put the brass on the sides. It's weird, like I don't think that brass is too loud, it's just a little bit sharp for me. I feel like we could have put the brass on both sides. I understand why having another guitar solo here. I'm glad that we're fading out there though. I don't think, I mean like that shredding was absolutely phenomenally and sensational technique on the guitar, but I don't necessarily know if it would have been beneficial to have too much more of that, you know, that just simply because I feel like we had a really tasteful solo in the middle and the outro didn't, it just, we got the story we needed. There's plenty of time for the shred, but still, great work there. Satellite here, surface of the blue planet surrounded by dream fragments. As if never, record my heartbeat with Reek electric waves, as if never to miss you again, leave the loneliness behind. How far is this journey? Even in places where light couldn't reach, you are still inside my vision, staring at your sadness. You are still inside my mind, please wait for my return. I will always remember you, waiting is for you, tolerance is for you, on a way that is blank and unknown. So is this supposed to talk about how you're going on a journey to come back just to become stronger, to get a new perspective or something like that? You know, getting rid of the darkness. We're just trying to sort of get away just to be able to heal ourselves. And we will still love that person, even if it's painful to get away from them. But sometimes you just need to go on a journey to sort of understand yourself better and find that peace, that inner peace, you know. I think that's what this track is about, finding inner peace and trying to figure out how long the journey is to see if that person will still be around for you. But we eventually realize we aren't in control of that person's decisions, and we just have to cope with whatever happens and just let them know we're thankful for them being a part of our life. No breaking, no making. Track number 4. A little bit more downbeat there, a different kind of drum beat. With the pianos here. Ooh. Okay, I like the fact we're balancing out with these interesting moogish synths there. Oh, going up there. Tension, but we're resolving it harmonically. You never know what to expect with this album, Dirac Sea. That's what I adore about it. I kind of adore the fact that we had the balls to put a 45-minute synth solo at the start of a song. It's not often you find that nowadays, but I think it was the right decision there, especially because if we want to instantiate, we're not rushing through a track. Have that length of a voicing, just make sure it's interesting and makes musical sense, and you're usually good. Oh, how active those claps and snares are though, right? Great sense of unison with those piano parts as well. Again, I do like the fact that we had a nice gentle vocal harmony there amongst the fluffiness of those synth parts and the interesting drum groove that was instantiated at the start. This doesn't seem like 5 minutes when you have the fundamentals covered. If the vocals soar. No, there's not a note out of place. I have no complaints whatever about his singing. We clearly understand how to create vocal melodies and harmonies and phrase them in a way. Nice vocal flow there. A little bit of twinkling going on. It's a very sizzly guitar tone though. That is a very old school like 70s, 80s, 90s kind of tone there. It reminds me of Zhang Yuxing so much, dude. I get the Wong Kar Kui vibe from it as well, but yeah. Almost some industrial elements here that are kind of fun and interesting and something I haven't heard much of recently. Like a very forceful kick there, you know, kind of thumps you in the face. Oh yeah, good choice there. I like the fact we're having those whole notes for those distorted strums there. I think that's smart. If you tried to get that unison with the drums, it would have been too much. It would have been too tight. Add a bit of floatiness to it. Just a little bit louder, a little bit more intense here with the backing vocals as we have with previous ones. Going higher in our vocal range to really balance it out. Now that synth was a good... Oh, it's heavy as hell actually. I think when you have more intensity with the distorted guitars, making them a little bit heavier, adding the bright synth on top kind of balances out the coloration of it and keeps it a semblance of what we had previously. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest, but I kind of adore the fact that we're allowing things to kind of come down like that and How do I describe it? It's just, it was unexpected because I was expecting it to kind of go into a major-ish kind of resolution there, but we didn't get that. We didn't get that happy place, and I kind of admire them for that. Because again, if you make harmonies too predictable, it will be down. You'll be your downfall. We can't be having things too generic in this house. It's not the way of things. You need to have the listener go, oh, were things really as happy as I wanted them to be? No breaking, no making. And when you take the rest of the track in consideration, yeah, I can kind of get that, you know. But yeah, no breaking, no making. Man is like a frog crouching at the bottom of a well. Struggle up, slip down though. Man is like an avatar of a horse named Kun Peng, stepping on the vast expense like stepping through the dust. Oh, okay. Man is like a frog crouching at the bottom of a well. Struggle up, slip down though. And okay. I'm trying to get my head around this. So this is talking about the cricket does not know autumn better, just stay away from it. No matter who hinders the pace of progress, if you travel thousands of miles, just accumulate steadily. Don't be infatuated with fairy tales. Learn to fear the scars people are ashamed to expose. Don't light the torch at the edge of light when it's too late to care about. Oh, okay. So is it like not sort of abusing yourself and actually like taking care of yourself and not making sure not to allow yourself to get wrecked along the way? Is that the kind of aesthetic we're going for here? Because that would make sense to me. Like I think that, especially in this day and age where a lot of people abuse their bodies and their minds and stuff like that in order to just get a little bit further, I think that it makes a lot of sense, you know, just taking things slowly one step at a time with no breaking, no making. This one's a bit tricky. I'm not quite sure about this one. What I've given so far is my understanding of it, but I feel there's more nuance I'm missing. Track 5, Candlelight. Oh, that's a charming little tone to those guitar chords and the vocals. Really interesting effects used on these guitars. I think it elevates it way more than simply having the clean sort of stems. That's the talent here. The post-production is next level, dude. For sure. And the bass coming in at that point, great development. And the drums, similar phrasing melodically and rhythmically to the previous verse line. Sounds a bit backwards. That brass on the side is too loud, I think, for the mix. If you have it on one side, it needs to somehow simmer in there, and it would need to be balanced by something else on the other side of the stereo field. Now when there's a little bit, it's a lot more palatable than a lot. I think there's a slower tap on it, and when it builds up, it's just a little bit too loud. Because I think I know what we're trying to do here. We're trying to balance the guitar on the left side with a lot of the brass elements on the other, and in my opinion, there's just a little bit too much on that right side of the stereo field. The composition, the vocal melodies alongside the drum grooves, great. Which is a real shame, because the double track and the vocals alongside that bass line and that guitar and the drums, it almost feels like the brass on the side and the strings were almost unnecessary. But I know what we were trying to do with it, which makes me sad, because so far everything's just been so damn near flawless. We've got a guitar solo here, great position for that. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I haven't had a guitar solo within this part of the track before. Yeah, no, I'm not happy with the way I'm not happy with it. It's placed in the stereo field. I know musically what we're trying to do here. It's the correct decision to put those notes in there on that range. It would just need to be maybe double tracked or like balanced a bit more in the center field for it to work. I've got high expectations now because of the quality of music so far. Yeah, see, this is wonderful. What's going on here? Perfectly balanced here. But the guitars, the bass, the drums, the sort of semi-smothered lead line in center. Great filtering of that as well to make it a bit less bombastic than the previous section. Strings on that side, wonderfully balanced. If we'd been a little more subtle with the levels of the brass on the other side, I think it would have been absolutely 10 out of 10. I really liked with the use of the form factor though. The song is so short, but that's the correct decision for it. I want to know what it's about though. You always trust in my ability, like no one can compete with me. Accompany me to step out of every obstacle, confront my disappointment, or comfort my disappointment. Oh, I always want to hide every time I'm facing you. That's sad, dude. Oh, prove myself with beers, living in an aesthetic life. Anesthetic life? Oh, I get what we're going for there, you know. Oh, so is this about someone, okay, so basically this is someone that they knew and they always believed in them and they had a really wonderful relationship and they always boosted up Ming Yang Rang when they needed it. But as things went on, they just felt embarrassed and ashamed of the fact that they couldn't be who that person thought they would be. They didn't live up to the expectations of others, and they drank beers to kind of dull that pain and everything like that. You know, they want to live independently, get rid of the comfort shackles, and get outside of their comfort zone. So they did ring them. The voice was much older than before. You just did it silently without saying anything. I think you are the candlelight. That's wonderful. So they still managed to communicate with each other in the end, although a lot of time has come past. I'm wondering if the trip away was to go away from that person to come back. It's a beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful album so far, though, apart from like a few things that kind of bug me. But that's okay, the girl. Yeah, I'm familiar with this chord progression there. It's nice to have the chiminess, the shimmer of that tone there. That raw acoustic tone. It's just great with just the guitar and the vocals. You don't need more than this. This is an important song to put in because it shows that Randy can get by without the full orchestra. Him and a guitar, it's enough. The test I do with musicians I'm listening to is, can they play this music live? I reckon he could. I reckon it'd be a stellar gig. That's a recipe for success right there. I like that. It kind of reminds me of You Look Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton. The chord progressions from that, I'm hearing that within it. Similar approach to the texture of the timbre of the vocals here. A little bit of 7th chord, dominant 7th. Head voice, parallel major, charming. Great job here having the mixture of the strumming and the melodies here. Really important thing to teach guitarists is that you don't just have to do one or two, you can do both. Nice and short, more story.
里的你在此刻涌上我心头，破旧的书包装着你的来信，我一直把它们都带在身边。我会记得穿行在这都市，继续寻找霓虹灯般的梦境，或许永远都不属于。
Great consistency with the vocal performance as well. Those melodies there, I think it's charming stuff. Really, listening to him sing. Well, the measure of a musician is how well they can sing acoustically versus in the full band, and I think that he handles both.
但我想给你一个拥抱，别再悲伤，别再思念漂泊的我，别再悲伤，别再思念漂泊的我。
Charming. Kind of reminds me of like, you know, you always hear the people with the guitar singing to someone else, kind of trying to sort of like croon and make the other person swoon. But it can also be such a therapeutic thing to just play your guitar and tell a story with it. I adore the fact we've had this really intimate experience with this music today. The girl. Silent afternoon, sitting at the intersection. Who is the warm sunshine staying for this moment? Beautiful, you come upon my heart at this moment. Your letters are in my shabby bag. I always bring them with me, accompany me through the city, keep on searching. Neon-like world, but it may never belong to you or me. But I'd like to give you a hug. Don't be sad, don't miss me anymore. I wanna... I felt like I was going to tear up a little bit. Then I thought I was going to cry because that's a really beautiful story. It's I think that you get the full experience if you can hear the language, if I understand the words as he sings and plays the guitar there. I think this song is about someone who was loved to pieces by someone, and you know they're on their journey throughout the world, wherever they are in that space in the universe. And they've still got all those letters that were handwritten. It may never belong to me, but I'd like to give you a hug. Don't be sad, don't miss me anymore. And I'm unsure of how to take that, whether it's don't be sad, don't miss me anymore because I'm not able to come back, or don't be sad because I do want to be there and give you a hug and you don't have to miss me anymore. I'm not sure how to take that, really. But either way, just exceptional work with this. This is probably one of my favorite tracks off the album so far. It's not because the other songs weren't beautifully written, it's just that this is a really special one. The Girl. Dirac Sea. The long form one today. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. This is a long one, man. This is a long review. Oh, fantastic work of the piano there, though. I adore it. I think it's fantastic to have this intro here with such competent musicianship. And again, it's such a great substitute for vocals there. It tells you a story and you don't know what you're getting yourself into. I wonder how Randy learnt their music theory and composition. I mean, I know that they've obviously had influences from, like, you know, Wong Kar-Kui and John Lennon and stuff like that, and the Beatles and everything like that beyond, but this is very impressive for a one-man band, you know what I mean? Again, this is incredible. I like the mixing of this track a lot more. We're a fan of having this kind of sharp, the guitar is too sharp on that left side. The only thing I'd say is, if we're going to have elements on the left side of the stereo field or the right by themselves, we need to keep them smooth, you know, unless we're deliberately trying to pay attention to them. I know we're trying to balance that out with the piano possibly, but they're not quite the same level. The guitar is a little bit too loud on that left side. Fantastic legato technique with that bass guitar there as well. It's so soothing and calming, man. Fantastic choice of soloing here. I like the mixing of it. I like the fact we've got 3 different elements that are separate to each other, trying to weave a tapestry. I don't think it's too much. Yeah, there's where the guitars make more sense there. I think we literally had the original rhythm guitar track just on the left, but it needed the right side to fill it out and make it so the vocals with the double track and kind of balanced it out better. I do like the build into that though. That was really smooth. The piano is constant. I don't mind that too much. There's a lot of really good ideas within this track. Kind of like a power ballad, isn't it, this one? Definitely hearing the Beyond influences here. Okay, so I think the lead guitar could have been a little bit quieter in this part here, but I appreciate what we're trying to do with it. Key change? Yeah. I'll give that a pass. Yeah, I'll give that a pass. I agree with that key change there. Going up 3 steps like that was a fantastic choice. But it's only because Randy can hit those high notes in his head voice that cleanly. That chromaticism there that we had there with the double tracked vocals there is so like, whoa, what's happening? We're going down to the bottom, kind of a Weezer-ish kind of vibe to it as well. Maybe some bends there, smart move there. Huge sound to it. I'll give this a pass. There we go. The fact that the guitar is screaming. I'm not sure what the song's about, but I imagine it's something to do with that. Stank, dude. Hey, but that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Well done. Yep, lovely use of vibrato of that end piece there. Sensational work there. Very atmospheric. I honestly, I think this album so far has been phenomenal. The ones that I've put a green, you probably can't see all of these. We go that way. You see there, I put some hearts around some of these. You see these hearts here. These hearts are simply just to show you which ones I really, really like. So 4 out of 7 are ones I really, really like, and I don't usually like tracks on Spotify, so that's effectively a huge compliment. Dirac Sea. It turns into dust eventually. Your revelry is my loneliness. Love that doesn't show up is because time plays tricks. Okay, waiting is luxurious. Yeah, this is a very confusing one for me. They all your turns into dust eventually. Your loneliness is my revelry. Life is ordinary. Waiting is luxurious. So is it like waiting for things of the future? It's like we get to have positivity and optimism for the future, and that's the great success in that formula. Whoever is a ranger like the mountain and sea behind us. I don't know. I don't know what this track means. I want to know though. So is it saying that we just no? I don't get it. I don't understand this one. If Ming Yang Ran can help me with this, I'm just a little bit lost. I am reading it. There will always be undercurrent searching over halo of desire. Whoever is a ranger like the mountain sea. Is it waiting to find that a ranger? It's waiting to find a hidden truth or something like that? A meaning bigger than ourselves? Is it simply being present as opposed to always being sucked into things? Is that the luxury? Being able to sort of be open to what will come and not being subdued by what you think could be. Losing in Dreams though, track number 8. Final one for today. Before I go and do a 2-hour JHL album live stream. Whew. Busy day. Lovely work with the really misty sounding pianos and the crowd vocals there. Very, very, very huge contrast to the previous track. A lot more chilled out than we had previously, and especially when compared to the girl. Oh, great use of different vocal octaves. Different pitches. It's gorgeous, dude. That pad-like vocal effect is charming, man. So soothing. I like the fact we're changing this tail of this melody here to sort of insinuate we're going somewhere differently with it, but also just because it's at the right space where, like, if we'd repeated it, it would have been a little bit, it wouldn't have been enough. Of course. I would have liked those double track vocals to be a little bit more spaced out in the stereo field, or a little bit more subtle, but I appreciate what we're trying to do regardless. But of course, it's all stylistic, right? This space is excellent. There are a couple of moments where the pitches aren't exactly where we need them to be, like the notes aren't perfectly being hit, but that tension is almost kind of nice because it shows it shows that this is an organic performance, that we're not trying to so saturate our vocals with unnecessary effects. We want it to sound that more kind of live-ish kind of vibe. Great presence to them in the mix, though. I think having just the guitar and the pianos, swell mix. What a fitting finish to the Dirac Sea.
去，梦仍会沉醉。我愿追随你，岁月的流转，路浮沉更迭。错别昨天，心若会跳动，我一定会在。有你的未来，心还仍灿烂，醉我于山海。心还仍灿烂，醉我于山海。
Wonderful. Great dynamic range. Fantastic. Just the minimalism of the piano and the guitar parts to allow the vocals to soar in here was a fantastic outro. Oh, charming outro chord there. We finally get that resolution I was talking about earlier in the album. And then the lyrics for the final song. And then the conclusion. Excellent, I feel at peace now. I'm going to get that a like as well. Losing in dreams. Sea mist couldn't disperse. Staring at the distant shore, waiting in silence. Grand light, white split light between us. Turns into mountains, let the homesick cloud bury miss. Timing is passing, future is not visible. Sea mist is spreading, staring at the distant shore. This is more about the Dirac Sea kind of thing, right? The present and the future. There's distance in shimmering grey and white. Pain will fade away eventually. If dreams are still in dreaming, I'll be with you. Time is in circle. So time's a circle, kind of an endless kind of loop there. Say goodbye to yesterday. If my heart is still beating, I'll be there with you. Starry nights still shine. Lying drunkly with mountains and seas behind. I think it's about being with someone in spirit or in an alternate universe or something like that. And just the imagery of the roads changing dramatically. You never know how things are going to go. You can't predict the future, but all you know is I'll be there with you. And with the, starry nights and the mountain seas behind. I'll be there in that distant future with you. By far, because this is the conclusion of my review of Dirac Sea by Mingyang Ran, this is probably one of my favorite albums that I have reviewed. Ever. There is just so much to appreciate and enjoy here. Within these 8 tracks, I'm going to break it down simply because I know this is a long review at this point. It's over an hour long. But there are things that I liked about this album. The first is the story of it. The comparison of the Dirac Sea, this kind of exploration of like different universes and all that kind of stuff. With the comparison of our spirits and how we connect with others in alternate universes and going on journeys and everything like that, and the experiences that we've had, coming to terms with our own mortality, coming to terms with our own limitations, but understanding that if we fight against it, we're just going to keep slipping further, and waiting for the inevitable wonder of life, the opportunities that may arise, the existence being imperfect but not bad because of that. I think that there are some wonderful themes that are discussed here and amongst each of the tracks we've spoken about today. But I think this is about someone effectively looking at their existence as stardust, looking at who they are, where they're going, keeping an open mind, was also healing from the loss that they had, with the girl in Candlelight. I think that, as time passes, people mature and they grow, and I think that this is a retrospective completive album for Mingyang Ran or Randy, and I'm proud of them for making it. The vocals within this track that told these stories were absolutely stunning. They were spectacular. I really enjoyed what we went for here. I'm not gonna pretend that this is the most flawless studio record, like audio engineering and music production and album that I've heard, but I love the note choices we have with the vocals, the control of the head and chest voice there, the harmonies that went with those vocal parts, either pad like sort of backing or the crowd chants or something like that, or the call and response that we had occasionally. I love the approach, whether it's the heavier stuff in Dirac Sea or the lighter stuff in The Girl and Losing in Dreams there. We had the personality and the approach down for the story we wanted to tell, so there was a great connection there. And ultimately with Mingyang Ran, we knew exactly how we felt about these. They came from the heart, man. These stories, they're so true to the person making the music, and especially considering that this is kind of like a one-man band, right? It's just wild that we managed to get all this done. Like, if we sort of split from the competency of the vocal performance for a minute and how authentic and true that was, to the themes behind it with the work we did on the guitar, the bass, the drums, the pianos, the different synth parts, the little sort of whooshy and synth bits going around. Like, honestly, this is some of the best music I've heard. There's so much variety in there. We never sit on a chord progression for too long. There is movement between them, even in 3-minute pieces. I think we have studied music theory and composition to a point where, with the influences again of Beyond and the Beatles, we incorporated really interesting, unique chord progressions and bass lines and melody ideas, and we knew the power of solos, instrumental solos, to kind of replace the lead voice and add a nice sort of foil alongside that. We added some brass elements and some other ones that, while I didn't always agree with the loudness or the placement of them in the stereo field, I can understand from an arrangement and composition perspective why we had those there. There is a lot to appreciate, at the very least respect here, because, you know, we have a musician who they gave it 100%. Like, this is a passion project for them. And it's representative of a person who not only has, again, the music theory and composition down, but also knows how to get these different instruments to work well with each other. We had massive kind of rock ballads, some sort of light acoustic kind of fluffy tones there. Losing the Dreams, which is more atmospheric. Satellite, which had some really unusual kind of vibes there. We went through rock and pop and a lot of different other subgenres there, but we always came back to the voice, the power of that. Randy with his vocals was consistent there and led us through his world, his existence, his story, his direction, his navigation there as we go through the Dirac Sea. And I adore it. I adore it so much. I think this is a really special album. I would need a long time to put into words exactly the different intricacies and complications with the different sort of note choices and like the percussion as well. Like, I haven't even spoken about percussion, but the percussion is out of this world, man. Like, we didn't thrash the drums or anything like that, but the choices we had with the different notes and sort of key signatures and everything like that there, they're wonderful there. Like, we had different sort of drum grooves and fills, and we knew when to go to rim shots as opposed to snare hits. We had some sort of sample drums in there to kind of add a bit of sort of edginess in there where we needed to. And it's not just like knowing the vocal fry goes with the edgy drums, or like having the harmonies. And listen to this for yourself. Do yourself a favor. Don't have me stopping and starting and reviewing it for you. Go and listen to it yourself. Go listen through the entirety of it. Have fun with it, man. It's honestly an incredible album. You know, I've said a lot of what I thought about the various instrumental parts within each of the tracks, but there wasn't a note out of place in my opinion. And I just love that we were able to craft and perform these in an acoustic live setting where it's very authentic sounding, and there's a great chemistry with each of the instruments involved, even with the fact that Mingyang Rang has done most of this himself. It's just so incredible. I adore it to pieces. I think that Randy nailed the themes and each of the tracks, you know, whether we had a 3 or a 6-minute track, that there was no filler whatsoever. The production, recording, mixing, and mastering, if I'm totally blunt with you, aside from a few parts where things were a little bit loud, everything else was handled sensationally. I think the fact that there was a lot of dynamic range and it wasn't overly compressed or limited allows for a more sort of like gentle listening experience there. Whether we're hearing the heavy distorted guitars or the light guitar parts, you know, the gentle little arpeggiations or the full-on sort of like big sort of tom fills with the crashes and all that kind of stuff, the little shuffles we had in Time Paradox. There's a lot of range there musically, and we handled it well with the recording of the various instruments where it had that kind of 70s and 80s kind of grit to it. But also in addition to that, the filtering and EQing so that nothing was resonant and like too resonant in the frequency spectrum. Everything was nice and wide in the stereo field, almost to a fault with some of the things sounding a little bit too loud in the far sides, but that's okay. It's just, it's excellent. It's excellent. It's just, I think that it was great that we did it on our own in terms of the post-production, mixing and mastering. There were just some parts were a bit too loud, like against some of the brass parts that I mentioned. But aside from that, like honestly, like it's very, very strong, and I want to hear more from Mingyang Ran or Randy in future. I think for a first impression to Mingyang Ran's music, it was wonderful, and I would not want really anything to be changed. I think that sometimes the most beautiful things are those that have slight imperfections, and I think that if we were to have that, maybe there's a reason why the brass was a little bit too loud at one point, you know? Like, I think, again, this is my conclusion of a thoroughly enjoyable album from Ming Yang Rang. And just to be clear, I think my favorite track on this is Dirac Sea. Starry Night Burns Out is a fantastic introduction. The Girl was very close to being my favorite, but I have to adore what's going on with all the different elements of Dirac Sea. Losing in Dreams as well, with a completely different sort of tone shift. So the flexibility of what we're able to. Those are my favorites. And Satellite as well, with the panning and the sound design of it and the automation of the panning as well, to kind of flick things around the headphones. The sound design and the production was sensational. Those are a rough idea of my favorites there. The other 3 tracks are great. There were just little things I sort of nitpicked with it, but that's fine. Everything in here is good, and there are a few tracks which are spectacular. But that is my review of Dirac Sea by Ming Yang Ran. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go check out the various social medias and the Spotify page. And stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out, and Happy New Year.